exactly what species are in there and their numbers and what they're producing, and the report tells you what they're supposed to be doing, so you know if you're not enough, this is what's happening, and so it gives you the full picture. Up to this point, probably the most inclusive test we had was a thing from, what was the name of, I can't remember the name of it, GI map.
That's one of them, yeah.
Yeah, that just kind of had things they kind of pull out of the air for what, oh, this is your normal range, and had little bar graphs, you know, just red, green, yellow kind of things. Not reproducible. You could send in the same stool sample with two different things and get two different results. Which, you know, as far as the lab guy goes, that's like, no, it's junk stuff. And Tracy had said at the beginning that my background is laboratory. I started out as a med tech, and they got my master's in hematology, immunology, dealt a lot with bone marrow stuff, with cancers and doing those kind of things, and then became a naturopath. But where was I? Oh, on the different strains. So once you get the person up to the two strains, then you can go to the maintenance program like that. Well, that's just one part of it. And sometimes when people are really toxic and they've got this dysbiosis in the gut, and you know, you can't poop. Everything is, you know, the stool's coming out little rock pellets, or what they call them, goat turds or rabbit pellets. I've seen in emails and things like that. Lord knows I get pictures on my text from my
TMI.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Helps.
Yeah.
They want to be very clear. That's good. Give them credit.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So,
right.
so there's mega IgG. So this is a bovine serum sourced IgG, immunoglobulins. And their job when we use them is to bind up the endotoxins, the lipopolysaccharide poisons that are damaging the gut, that are being produced by the enteric bacteria that live in the gut. When they get overgrown, you know, it just gets worse. And if you're going to heal leaky gut, you got to give it a chance to heal, so you have to sop up all these toxins in there. This is what the IgG does. So in some cases, we'll actually start people on the IgG first, just to get them ready, because if you hit them with a probiotic, like the spore things, and they're that out of whack, they're going to have a major reaction to it, every time. And half the time we spend on the phone with practitioners is talking them through the protocols patient by patient until they get used to understanding, you know, what this stuff does. Because with the spore things, I mean, I can't stress it enough, is when they colonize, they go to work. And they're like, we've heard the frame, they're the new sheriff in town. You know, they get things straightened out. What was that sheriff show?
Andy Mayberry?
No, it was in Absaroka County, Wyoming.
Oh, Longmire.
Longmire. Y'all seen Longmire?
Yes.
You've seen Longmire, yeah. That's their job, just like that. You know.
So you're saying if we clean up the gut,
Mhm.
eat organic, take this stuff, there'll be no cancer, no arthritis,
A lot better chance.
Alzheimer's, no whatever we die from.
Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, all those kind of things.
Diabetes.
We don't want to think, speaking of
You
Parkinson's,
won't be on the fast track that there is now.
yeah, you know, we were talking about serotonin. One of the side effects they don't tell you much about when they put people on antidepressants is it causes that palsy and eventually dementia and then Alzheimer's because of what it does to the brain.
Causes what? Bell's palsy?
The shaking.
Oh,
Parkinson's.
how do you get Bell's palsy? My
It's a
brother has
viral infection generally causes that. Or it could be vaccine injury too.
Mm-hmm. Which is
Yes.
So do you have experience with this in autism, helping autistic children?
Yes. Yeah. I have down in Texas I've got 4, and up here I have 2. And they live in Coeur d'Alene now. And the ones that live here in Coeur d'Alene, they moved up here from Argentina or Peru, and they were down there some kind of mission thing. And they live close to the beach. And one of the kids is perfectly normal, as we expect, you know, a normal kid would be. One of them has some dyslexia and gets every virus that comes by. The baby was not crawling, wasn't progressing, wasn't talking, would hardly eat. and when we started doing the testing, we did hair mineral analysis. Y'all ever done that? These kids had high arsenic, and they had high mercury, and no zinc. And so, chelating, detoxing a baby is slow work to do because you can't do it very quickly, and especially when they don't want to eat anything. You get it in their mouth and just go out at you. So we wanted to get the food so it tasted good. So we got the zinc levels up first, which directly affects the taste of food. And now, 2 years later, that baby's crawling right along, gets in her little bouncy thing, eats her own food, says mom and dad, and all that stuff has come back together. And I've actually passed them off to another naturopath in Coeur d'Alene, who happens to be a microbiome labs client. So we knew they knew what they were doing.
So what caused the progression of that in the 3 children?
Well, part of it was genetic. Tracy had mentioned the MTHFR gene. So the little girl was homozygous on the MTHFR. So she had a SNP on both chromosomes. And she also had the GSTM1 gene homozygous. Well, you can't really have it homozygous because you only get it from your mother. She just didn't have it. The report was no gene present. So not only do you not produce glutathione well, which you can't detox heavy metals. So they just build up. So the little girl for the rest of her life, once a month, detoxes that stuff out. So it was a lot of it was genetic there, and the brothers and sisters, they were heterozygous, so they got one from each parent, and the little girl was unlucky enough to get one from both. They did not know where they were getting exposed to the arsenic and all that stuff from. They had no idea. And gold mines and mining operations like that, they dumped that in the water, and who knows what they were getting down there. It could have been what was being sprayed on the vegetables they were eating. Who knows?
Actually on that note, experience, I know I'm MTHFR heterozygous, and then I have 2 nephews that have autism of 30-some grandchildren. So in our family, the autistic rate's really high, which is why we don't do anything with our kids, because we don't do any vaccines or anything, because I'm really nervous about it.
And that's the whole autism vaccine controversy. Is it the vaccines just like straight up causing it? It's because of the genetic makeup of the kid. I'm not saying vaccines are good or anything. They're not a proven science at all. They have nothing backing up their safety. They have nothing. That's why they got a vaccine court protecting them. You take away that vaccine court, and all that mandated crap they're doing right now will go away, because now they'll be liable for the stuff they're doing to people.
But why are we seeing so much autism now versus when, I don't ever remember hearing about it when I was growing up.
Right.
And there was a GMO jump, and why does
Yeah,
it build
it's
up?
But I mean, if
GMO
you've got it
and
on
all
the
that,
gene, why are we seeing that so prevalent?
The additional environmental
Okay.
glyphosate, GMO,
Yes,
the way they're being birthed, all of it combination.
Well, it's going to be difficult. If they get put on an antibiotic, which damages their microbiome, gets them out of balance, it's going to be really difficult to get them back into balance. And even the person that doesn't have a gallbladder is in the same issue, because there's bile there for a reason for what it does. But without an appendix, you have nothing to reseed your gut with, and you're going to have some stuck around in different places. And that when you do the spores, and it starts to suppress the things that are overgrown, and then you take a prebiotic that feeds the good ones, some of it's going to come back.
Restore your gut.
It's not going to do it very quickly.
It'll help.
And that's I was just going that's where you see the constipation and gas and the cramping and the bloating and all that stuff go on. Because when food is not digesting through the gut, it ferments in the gut, and that causes problems.
I was just going to say, our son, when he was 18, had appendicitis, and he did have surgery and got it taken out, and it was very enlarged, and they said it could have ruptured.
Yeah.
I mean, in that kind of a situation,
Yeah, you got it.
as soon as you take it out. So now, I mean, that was like 6 years ago. So now, I didn't even realize the whole, this whole appendix connection. So, I mean, what would you
Yeah, even
recommend
when I was
for
in high
that?
school, they told us the appendix was a vestigial organ, right?
Yeah.
It was left
Never
over from when we
believed
were
it,
monkeys
but-
or something. I was like, not my day.
Yeah.
So with this Megasport biotic, I mean, is that something that would help?
Yes.
I mean, he doesn't,
Yeah.
he hasn't ever complained of any issues, but maybe they're just down the road.
Well, guys don't,
Right.
right? We don't complain much. We don't get up and call our neighbor, did you poop today? Y'all do.
Not with just anybody. And now we text them around.
So what about like you're in perfect health but you have asthma? Which is popular, right? First of all, how'd you get it?
Well, there's
What-
psychological issues to all illnesses also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That
but
one's
he's not
great.
he's not messed up psychologically at all. He's like too great. This is my
Oh, and
husband.
there's the